pigskin jacket. Thanks, baby. Did I ever tell you that this here jacket represents a symbol of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom? I was 6 years old. I was sitting on the living room carpet watching our old TV, and I just remember I wanted to be inside that TV so bad. I just wanted to get out of there and get in that TV. And I think that's my first real cognizant recollection of wanting to act, that I wanted to, I couldn't understand how people got inside the television set, and I wanted to go there.
Nicolas Cage's acting and his expressive face spans the genres, much like his career.
Since you were 15, 41 years. To be number 7 on the call sheet of a goddamn student film. I think it's a good idea. You listen to me. You're Nick fucking... Whoa, Cage! Now, he doesn't need a struggling artist for a father. She needs you to be a star. Now, you get the next one, baby, and we're back. Not that we went anywhere. Not that we went anywhere.
A confusing Rolodex of acting styles and a range that amazes his fans and confuses his critics. The Cage style refuses to meet expectations. In his uncle's film Peggy Sue, you can see flashes of the cinematic creation that is Nick Cage, dropping his real name for his alter ego that allowed him to do things no other conventional actor has done in movies.
You're hurting me.
Kendall, I think you're having another off day. Who the hell are you? I'm her future. Really? Incoming.
I'm beginning to think that maybe there is more to life than just music. Do you think the world would still like me if I stopped being Mr. Excitement?
You're a Coppola, but you changed your name to Cage. When did you change it, and why did you do it?
Well, when I first started working, I made a couple of TV shows, and I went in to read the other actors for Rumblefish. And by my surprise, they said, well, we'd like you to be in the movie. And, you know, then I was still Nicolas Coppola, and I felt a lot of pressure from the other actors.
Would you ever change your name back again to Coppola?
You know, I've actually thought about that, but I don't think so. I'm feeling like Nicolas Coppola is a thing of the past, and I'm really comfortable with Cage. So that's the way it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
A singular style, the zenith of uncaged acting. Coppola may be driving, but Nick Cage is giving directions that grants him powers to go into silent movie realms that influence the style.
Now, your uncle is Francis Ford Coppola, so I'm wondering if you had access to films that you otherwise might not have seen.
My father, too, he was always projecting movies at home, and that's really where I began my interest in German Expressionism, was because my father was playing Nosferatu at the house, and I remember it affecting me, giving me nightmares, even though I'm watching this sort of, silent black and white movie. I was really creeped out by Max Schreck's performance, and it stayed with me. And I think the movie that really freaked me out was The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, and my father played that for me, and it left an indelible impression, and so that's why that movie came together.
Especially his body language and his gestures and movements stayed with me, and I always thought it'd be great to be able to incorporate that kind of silent film acting where they were using their bodies more because they had to compensate for the lack of sound, and try to bring it into modern film. And the only way I could pull it off, I figured, was if the character was insane, because you can't really act like that in modern film in a normal format, because people just wouldn't understand or get it or relate to it or want to relate to it. But if the character is insane, and especially if he thinks he's turning into a vampire, there's just a wonderful landscape of things you can do, and so I brought those old style gestures to the character because of his insanity, basically.
Here we have the spider's web of influences that make up the Cage style, that allows him to experiment inside the conventions of Hollywood. Fast forwarding to the future of acting.
I'm our future.
Or alternative movies where we can experiment and fast forward into the future of acting.
The influences on the style range from James Dean to my favorite Martian.
Even now, in some of my work, you can sort of see his influence a little bit.
It's kind of a charade. I'm pretending I'm carrying an invisible man into the house.
But the other thing I discovered later was James Dean in East of Eden, and also Rebel Without a Cause. I was 15, and that really put the hook in me to become an actor.
Well, I think that's great that your influences were My Favorite Martian and James Dean.
Yeah. The pain in him when he tries to give his father the money that he earned by selling beans for his father's birthday, and I guess it was Massey. His body language was just so racked with pain that it moved me. I mean, it got to me more than anything else, any song or painting or any other kind of art form. I knew then that I wanted to be a screen actor.
If you want to give me a present, give me a good life. That's something I could value. Cow!
The Cage style, like the snake jacket, is a symbol of his individuality and freedom. His best roles symbolize this inner fight with Nick Cage and Nicolas Coppola.
In a way, Nick Cage's character had to play 3 parts, and Travolta's had to play 2. Travolta had to play the good guy, and then he had to play the bad guy impersonating the good guy. Nick Cage had to play the bad guy, very over the top. Then he had to play the good guy trapped in the bad guy's body, but he had more scenes in which he had to actually imitate the bad guy.
As Archer.
As Archer. The angst had to bleed through his imitation of the bad guy.
As we just saw in the prison.
The agony of what he's doing, and so it was really 3 layers and not just 2.
So what did you pick up on Travolta?
Well, he just sometimes he gets this this mannerism in his voice where it's like almost like a hurt little boy, and and he is and the look gets in his eyes, and also there's a little bit of a sort of a stutter there that comes in, and I really how you doing, Nick? Is everything good? That's like that. And I had to sort of bring that into the character.
Nick Cage and Nicolas Coppola have been at war with each other for a long time. The traditional actor fighting his alter ego, a monstrous acting style that doesn't follow conventions. At any moment, releasing the unpredictable Nick Cage.
I love you, and I have always looked out for you. Get off of me.
I'm trying to help you, and you won't listen! How are you helping me, huh? How are you ever helping me?
You need to know who you are, Nick.
And I've always had this idea of breaking the 4th wall, which is like taking it into hyperrealism. So it really helped me out to change the name, and it took the pressure off of me, and I felt a lot freer. I just decided to use it. There were a couple other names that I was going to go for, but it just sounded right to me. It was just sort of simple and to the point.
A power that tests the conventions of normal films. walking a razor's edge with experiment and surrealism. His early performances like Birdy show that Nick Cage is more than capable of doing what every other actor is doing, and doing it very well. But his alter ego, Nick Cage, refuses to rehash old steps.
Well, if you're experiencing dental pain while you're doing a scene where your face has been blown off, just basically you don't have to act. Just use the dental pain.
Can you tell when you watch the movie back that you were experiencing real pain?
Yeah, I can. I don't actually like to watch that movie, to tell you the truth.
Because you don't like the movie?
No, I like the movie. It's just that it was like, it was a little private, you know. I let so much stuff come out, and I get a little embarrassed when I see it just because it's just so bare.
Nick Cage has come a long way. From its infancy,
This as a scene.
I would just like rehearse alone in my hotel room. This whole alphabet sequence, you know, I guess, I don't know how Mick Jagger figures into this, but
There is a pose.
there's a pose that's very Jagger-esque. If we were to do this again today, people would say, well, you can't go that extreme in the film. Where do you go from there, as you're saying? But here we go.
You know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Huh? That's all you have to do.
Very good. You know your alphabet.
I never misspelled anything. Not once, not one time.
Nick Cage is fearless with uncomfortable drives with the extremes.
How are you ever helping me?
You need to know who you are, Nick.
Nicolas Cage.
Well, understatement's the watchword tonight.
Oh, hang on a second. My mic, darn it. All that physical activity just took my mic off.
You did a bit of that in Wild at Heart when you're dancing.
Sure did.
All those karate kicks.
Oh, heck, I'll just hold it.
Yeah.
This alter ego has taken over in the past, as you can see on Terry Wogan.
You know what? This leather's really hot.
Yeah. You're sorry now.
I gotta tell you something, guys. My mic isn't working. I hate to do this to you, Terry, but Mandy gave you a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And
you're not going to give me you're going to give me your snakeskin jacket, aren't you?
No, I got to give you my Wild at Heart T-shirt. Because... I'll just put this jacket.
It's a big night for me, I can tell you.
While it would have been easier to stay in one or two genres, Nick Cage has gone into nearly all of them. It's as if the alter ego is channeling unknown frequencies from some TV that was left on.
Safe? Who knows what's safe? I know a man who dropped dead from looking at his wife.
Safe? Who knows what's safe? I know a man dropped dead from looking at his wife.
You can't get lost in the woods if you never go into the woods.
You can't get lost in the woods if you never go into the woods. Boy, you got an answer for him? Yep.
That's right, sir. You're the only person authorized to do so.
That's right, sir.
The alter ego that gave him freedom in Hollywood also became his cage.
But I can't. I was born with it.
I know it's not hip to say it, but I just love acting, and I hope that there will be more encouragement for alternative movies where we can experiment and fast forward into the future of acting.
Where he begins and Francis Coppola ends would blur the two, battling it out on the stage.
Where is your Oscar?
I think it's, well, I've had to move a couple of times. I believe it's, where did Danielle put it? She's my personal man. I think she put it, well, it was in my bar. I think it's now in my office somewhere, yeah. I haven't been to the new place, so I'll check it when I get home.
And for helping me blur the line between art and commerce with this award.
My manager at the time got a phone call saying, oh, I've got a two-headed snake that I found in Northridge, and I think your client, Nick Cage, would be interested. They would fight, and one head was more dominant than the other. And why? It was going to the same stomach, but I would have to put a spatula between the two heads to feed him, and it just got
got a little too freaky for me. So,
This melting would mean his performances would become stranded in unworthy movies. Once in a while, the old Cage returns. Coppola owes everything to Nick Cage, who was born out of fear of expectations that evolved into a vehicle that was free to go onto the wild side, hand in hand with his persona in the passenger seat. It gave him a freedom to test Hollywood. The real Coppola is in the film Birdy, behind the half-obscured face of bandages.
That movie, to tell you the truth. It was like, it was a little private, you know. I let so much stuff come out, and I get a little embarrassed when I see it just because it's just so bare.
I'm starting to change even my views on acting. It's strange. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I almost see it like channeling spirits. You know, people use the word over the top, but that for me is not really a criticism, even though they mean it as a criticism. For me, it's just a place that I like to go as a style. It's a stylistic thing.